from class 8L. I'm studying in Chetnadu Ashram. I'm going to narrate a story of chasing shadows. Louis Zygmunt woke up in the middle of a moonless night, his heart pounding in his chest. The eerie silence of the house was broken only by the hushed voice of his parents, drifting through the thin walls. Curiosity gnawed at him, and he slipped out of bed, creeping towards his parents' room like a cat. He pressed his ear to the door to hear his parents talking. "We miss our child, even though he betrayed us," his mother whispered. Her voice tinged with sorrow. Louis froze, his mind racing. Were they talking about him? His father's voice, a deep murmur, followed. "Yes, we would. It's not our fault that he turned that way. We have proof our second child didn't have any behavior like our first." Louis' heart sank. A second child? His thoughts spiraled. Could there be secrets hidden within his own home? The old cupboard in the hall was always off limits. Suddenly seemed to hold the answers he sought. With trembling hands he opened it, the creak of the old wood echoing through the silent house. Inside, beneath a pile of dusty papers, he found a tiny box. He opened it, revealing a photograph of a small boy holding a baby. The baby was unmistakably him, but the boy, his brother? Determined to uncover the truth, Louis joined the law enforcement agencies, driven by the burning desire to find his long-lost brother. He remembered his responsibility, feeling the weight of his brother's betrayal and his rumored criminal life pressing down on him. Torn between loyalty to his family and his duty as an officer, he delved into the crime reports. One report stood out, a crime report from his parents, stating that his brother, Emerson Zygmunt, had robbed them. The reports were consistent, all mentioning a mark left behind, a warning symbol. Louis' identity wavered. Was he truly different from Emerson, or did they share more similarities he did like to admit? A witness who had seen the thief gave his number. In the case file, he had seen the thief and there were tracks near the victim's house. But the case went cold due to the negligence of police officers saying it was just a prank or not a serious threat. Louis' mind raced. Could he have Emerson from his criminal life, or was it too late? He rushed to the location, asking the eyewitness to show him the path and the CCTV footage of that night. This led to a deserted warehouse, and he encountered a shadowy figure. The mastermind, always one step ahead, left cryptic messages for Louis. Was it Emerson or someone else entirely? With his gun raised, Louis moved forward, his heart pounding in his chest. "You think you have won," a voice echoed. Louis turned, seeing a masked figure. "We meet here, thief," he said, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. The figure removed the mask, revealing a scar that slashed across his cheek. "Louis," Emerson said, his voice echoing off the walls, "you have always been a dutiful one, haven't you? The golden son, the one who followed the rules." Louis' grip on his gun tightened. Emerson's eyes held 1,000 stories, each one a history leading deeper into the past. "You're chasing shadows," Emerson continued. "The warning symbols, the mark, it's not what you think." He stepped closer, Louis' heart raced faster. "These symbols, they are code, a message hidden to attract you." Emerson traced a finger along the wood, revealing patterns. "Our parents were part of something bigger." Louis' breath caught. "What?" he asked, his mind spinning. Emerson leaned in, his voice a whisper. "Our parents, they were sacrifices," Louis' mind reeled. "And you?" he asked, jerking a thumb at person near Emerson. The person whispered. "I was," Emerson continued. "Louis, you're the officer. You can cover our theft. Join us and we'll have plenty of goodies." Louis' loyalty fractured. Duty or theft? The factory walls closed in, suffocating. "Why tell me this?" Emerson's smile faded. "Because we are brothers, Louis. Blood binds us even when the world tears us apart." He stepped back, disappearing into the shadows. Choose wisely. As the moon slipped behind a cloud, Louis made his decision. He would follow the rules even if it shattered everything: his brother's life, his own life, or his parents' love. He gripped his gun, heart racing, and stepped forward. Louis held his breath, waiting for next move. Brother, I'm a proud officer, and you are a thief, Louis said, his voice echoing in the empty space. I chose to be an officer and will deliver justice to you. A voice responded, who are you calling brother? I am his friend. I was the one who encouraged him to rob his own parents. And he did that. Can you believe it? I even tried to make him kill you and your family. After hearing the bitter truth, Louis couldn't stand it. He roared and fired bullets, missing due to his rage. His anger burned like fire inside him. The man dodged the bullets and shot Louis in his hand, the impact making him unconscious. When Louis woke, he found himself lying in a dimly lit room, his limbs weak. Searching for something sharp, he saw a stick lying nearby, a small mirror. An idea sparked in his mind. He tripped the stick, causing the mirror to shatter with a loud crash. He acted unconscious, but no one came in. Using the glass pieces, he cut through the ropes binding his hands. Freezing himself after a hour of struggle, he opened the door silently, sneaking out and descending the stairs with difficulty. His arm bleeding, he saw a lighted room and his friend near a suitcase. Louis called his higher officials, reporting his location and status. They assured him that they were on their way. Louis knew he had to trap the man until they arrived. He carefully retrieved his gun and fired 3 bullets, injuring the Emerson's friend. The gunshots echoed through the factory, drawing Emerson from another room. He found his friend's lifeless body and stood there in shock. Louis, hiding behind the door, attacked Emerson, rendering him unconscious. With a well-placed blow, the higher officials arrived, bandaging Louis' wounds and taking Emerson into custody. The next day, newspapers headlined as "Justice Served" with Louis' name on it. His parents, shocked by how Louis knew about his brother, could only watch as Louis continued his job to uphold justice. He felt a sense of peace, knowing he had followed the right path of rightness, even if it meant turning against his own blood. Louis' colleagues and his higher official admired his braveness, yet the shadow of question was still in his heart. Could he have saved his brother from the dark path he had taken? One evening, as Louis sat in his dimly lit office, shifting through his old case files, a letter arrived. It was from Emerson, written from his prison cell. Louis hesitated, then opened it. The letter said, Louis, I know you must hate me for what I have done, but I need you to understand it wasn't entirely my fault. Our parents, they were involved in something bigger than us, something dangerous. They were part of a secret society that demanded sacrifices. I was meant to be one of them. When I escaped, I had no choice but to turn to crime to survive. I didn't want to drag you into this, but I had no other option. The symbols you saw, they were warnings, messages to keep you away, but you kept digging. And now here we are. I don't expect your forgiveness, but I hope you find the truth. Our parents' secrets are still out there, buried deep. If you want justice, if you want justice, if you want justice, you will need to uncover them. Your brother Emerson. Louis' mind raced as he read this letter. He knew he had to uncover the truth, not just for himself, but for the sake of justice. The following days were full of investigation. Louis dug deep into his parents' past. Everything about them was a mystery. Then, the more he discovered, the deeper the mystery became. His parents had indeed been part of a secret society, the society known as the Order of Shadows. Roots had roots going back to centuries. Louis realized that his parents had been near enemies in the game, and Emerson's actions were a struggle to break free from the society. Their group was everywhere, watching, waiting. One night, as Louis pored over his findings, a shadowy figure appeared at his door. It was someone who had once been the part of the order. He revealed chilling details about the society's activities, their plan and their targets. The target was to acquire as much as power they could. Louis, you are in grave danger, said the person. The order knows you are close to the truth. They will stop at nothing to protect their secrets. You need to be careful. He knew he couldn't back down now. The truth had to be exposed, no matter what happens. With the person's help, Louis devised a plan to decompose the order. It was risky, but it was the only way to gather the evidence. The nights that followed were filled with tension and danger. He attended secret meetings, gathered intelligence with the same order, and slowly uncovered the identities of secret society leaders. Each step brought him closer to the core of success, but also cover danger. One fateful night, as Louis prepared to expose the order's secret, he received a message. It was from Emerson, still in prison. The message was dirty, but it contained vital information about the order's next move. With the final piece of the puzzle in hand, Louis knew it was time to act. He contacted his superiors, revealing everything he had uncovered. The law enforcement were ready to take down the order once and for all. The operation was nothing as he expected. The order's leaders were detained, but the media was not notified. Louis was generally worried, as it was common for the media to cover the crime. His higher official told him to stand down. The society that had operated in the shadows for centuries was finally brought to an end. The order tried to take control over the entire world. It had agents all over the globe working 24 hours by 7. So it was a state emergency which had to be done without any citizen noticing. As the dust settled, Louis felt a sense of relief. The truth had been exposed and justice had been served. But the cost had been high. His family was shattered, his brother imprisoned, and his parents' legacy tainted by dark secrets. Yet past was full of confusion. Louis found peace in knowing he had done the right thing. He had followed the path of rightness, even though it meant facing the darkest shadows of his past. And in doing so, he had ensured that the truth would never be buried again. Louis stood on the steps of the courthouse, the morning sun casting a warm glow on his face. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight from his shoulder. The path was uncertain, but he knew one thing for sure. He would continue to uphold justice, no matter what the cost. And as he walked away, he felt a sense of peace, knowing that he had made the right choice, even if it meant turning against his own blood. Thank you once again. I am Achitraj from class 8L. I am studying in Chettinad Vidyaashram.